Today I wanted to go over a couple of dragon strategies I've been using at Town Hall 17 with some really good results, getting triples in War, Legends League, CWL, so I'll share these strategies with you guys, starting off with this one on the screen. So with this first army, there are going to be a couple of different variations you could use. I'm going to start with this one where we do have the Fox on the Royal Champion, and the differences are going to be the timing with the invis spells. So we'll get more into that once we actually jump into the attacks, but this is the army, and I could share the army links down in the description below as well, so it's an easy click to copy if you want that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hero equipments. Now obviously for the Prince at this current point in time, these are the only equipment options we have. I know that's going to be changing at some point in the near future, but for now, this is what we got, but I'm looking more at the pet for him. I like the Angry Jelly on the Prince because in my experience, he has had better pathing with the dragons with the Angry Jelly attached. He pushes in with the big group of dragons. I know the jelly wears off, but by the time that happens, he's already in the middle of the base. A lot of the times I put the Phoenix or something on him, and he likes to wander off and kind of move away from the dragon. So Angry Jelly for the Prince for that reason. In this version of the attack, we got the Unicorn on the Queen, we've got the Mirror and the Healer Puppet. You can run the Giant Arrow if you want to, but I've found that most of the times the RC tends to get at least one sweeper. If not, she tends to set up pathing to where the sweepers aren't a factor. So I found that a lot of the times with this attack, the Giant Arrow really wasn't needed, but you can still take it. And when I was running the Giant Arrow, I was running it with the Mirror, so I was taking off the Healer Puppet, but you could take off the Mirror and run the Healer Puppet with the Giant Arrow. That's also a good combination. Pretty much standard stuff here with the Warden. And then finally, the Royal Champion. We got the Fox with her on this one, and then we got the Boots. You have to have the Electro Boots for this to work efficiently. And then I like the Haste Vial because she does more damage. You could also take the Hog Puppet. She's not going to do as much damage, but she might last a little longer. The other good option is the Rocket Spear, but I don't suggest popping the Rocket Spear right away. Wait until she's further into the base. The reason is, for one, the Fox is going to run out ahead and probably die, and for two, the timing for the invis spells is going to be off. For Siege Machines, I recommend either the Blimp or the Battle Drill. Let's go ahead and jump into an attack. All right, here we go. So we'll touch back on the Battle Drill a little bit later. First, let's talk about the Royal Champion. So you want to try to send her in where she's going to get a lot of value, but also try to avoid like enemy heroes that might distract her. And when you've got the Fox, try to avoid the that big bomb there if you can. But there's a lot of value on the bottom of the base, regardless of which way she goes. So this is where we're going to start her on this one. And then the timing. So if you see the seconds get down to 57. Sorry, if the seconds end in a 7, that's what I'm trying to say here. That's when you drop your invis. So at 47, we'll do it again. So right there. And then that timing should line up pretty much perfectly for your Fox and the invis spell. So the invis wears off, the Fox makes her invisible, and then at 37, we drop in the next invis. She'll take the cannon and move up. That's why I dropped it there. And there we go. She's going to get a Fire Spitter. Invis wears off. The Fox will take over. Perfect. At 27, send it again. There we go. All right, so that's the trick with the timing for the Royal Champion and the invis spells when you're running the Spirit Fox. All right, she's going to continue on. 17 seconds. There we go. All right, she'll just clear out this entire bottom side of the base. And the Fox is dead. There's the last invis. Defensive invis will go off. All right, so utilize what you've gotten done as far as pathing. Also pay attention to the sweepers. We got one sweeper here to the left, so we're going to start the dragons over here. Also gonna put one balloon in like that. But we got an Electro Titan, so we can't start the baby dragon quite yet. Let's go ahead and get the dragon started first. Alright, so there we go. Get that in. We're gonna hang on to the Battle Drill for now. We want that Electro Titan to die before we send it in, because we don't want it to get popped prematurely. There we go. We got dragons working on the Titan. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and send in the Battle Drill. I usually send it with the dragons, but sometimes you can kind of offset it and send it later in the attack. That also works out pretty well. There's the Warden's ability to block some of these Town Hall shots. And there we go. Everything's going to push into the core. The Queen's on the top side, setting the funnel, keeping everything on the outside. We'll rage up here as well. Let's go ahead and pop the Queen's ability, get her healers out too. Let her funnel a little bit faster. So the reason I like the Battle Drill over the Stone Slammer, for example, the Battle Drill almost always lasts way longer than the Battle Drill does. Sorry, I can't even talk in this attack. I don't even know what's going on. I'm trying my best to pay attention to both things. But I think you know what I mean. So the Battle Drill almost always lasts longer than what the Stone Slammer would do. So that's the reason that I've been actually liking the Battle Drill quite a bit. There's a Rage. That should get us through these defenses. Let's go with one more Freeze here, and then we are looking good. The base is going down, and that is a triple. So we're going to run this back one more time. I actually like the next version better, so it's tweaked a little bit better, and the timing isn't quite as important with the invis spells, and we'll get into that. But there we go. All right, so here's the second version of that same attack strategy, and this is actually what I'm liking quite a bit more now, and there are a few differences that make quite a big difference. So first of all, we do change the spells a little bit. We dropped one Rage for another Invis and another Freeze. I don't like to personally go over 7 Invis just because time is a big factor and it's already pushing on the edge of time fail for a lot of my attacks. So I like to keep it at 7 and go from there. And then the other changes are going to be with the hero. So the Queen is changing, and I actually put the Fox on her, and shout out to my clanmate Fluffy for actually pointing this one out. But changing the Queen over to the Fox actually helps her stay alive on the outside quite a bit longer in a lot of cases, so that's been helping out quite a bit. And then the other one, of course, is with the Royal Champion. We're putting the Phoenix on her, and then in this case, I really don't recommend the Hog Puppet. I'd say with the boots, you want to take either the Haste or the Rocket Spear, just because you're really trying to maximize the damage. You want the RC to do as much as possible with that Phoenix. And the nice thing about the Phoenix is if she pops the Haste or the Rocket Spear when she dies, the Phoenix brings her back and she gets to finish using that ability. Whereas if she does that with the Fox, that ability is just gone. But those are the only changes with the army. I will show you the changes in the execution. Alright, so same thing. We're just going to try to look for what good value we can get. If you can, I do like to try to go for the Town Hall, and I think in this case we probably could. The King's there, but we'll just kind of keep him invisible. But the other thing is, after the Town Hall, I don't know how much extra value she can get. We don't have to worry about the bomb because obviously we don't have the Fox to try to keep alive. The other idea is we could go from the top. We could get the Fire Spitter and the Monolith there. And then remember, we don't have the Giant Arrow to get this Sweeper out of the way, so that could be a potential factor as well. So let's go ahead. Let's go for the Town Hall. Let's see if we can get that down. So for this, obviously, there is no timing with the Invis other than you're just dropping them back to back. So there's the first one, and then you just kind of, you got to get the timing down for when the Invis is about to wear off. Try to minimize that damage that the RC is taking in between Invis. So there we go. Oh, she went down. I wasn't expecting that, but she walked right back in, so we're all right. So she'll continue to head up here. Let's go ahead and make the, you can make the building that she's targeting go invisible because the boots obviously will continue to do damage. There we go. The next one's in. I'm a little bit slow on my Invis. Let's drop this next one a little bit sooner. There we go. So, like I said, try to minimize that time where she's not invisible. So there's the last Invis. At this point, you want to get the Queen going. Let's go ahead and pop that RC's ability. We don't need to watch her anymore. We'll get the Queen on the funnel, and then we're going to start these dragons from the bottom side of the base. So here we go. The Queen's going to be working on the funnel. The dragons are going to start moving in. Here we go. Drop in that. Drop in these. All right, we'll let everything push up towards the left. The Ice Golems will probably get picked up by the dragons. The King's actually going to hold some things up here for a moment, so that initial pathing's not super ideal, but we'll pop that Warden's ability. Alright, and then Rage here as the Ice Golems distract everything. And now that the Ice Golems are gone, let's drop in that Battle Drill in behind. Alright, and then we're going to start freezing that Sweeper. The Sweepers, don't underestimate them. They are an absolute nuisance. We're going to freeze there. We're going to freeze that Sweeper one last time. Alright, keep an eye on the Prince as well. You want to make sure you know which way he's facing when you're ready to pop his ability to try to slow things down. Pop the Queen's ability, get her healers out so she can stay alive. Alright, Tornado Trap in the core of the base. We did have the Battle Drill pop in the core. Okay, again, it lasts way longer than a Stone Slammer would in that same situation. We're going to pop the Prince here because he's going to be taking a lot of direct damage. So get those henchmen out in front, slow everything down. And this is looking good. The defenses are pretty much gone at this point. Sit the baby dragon on the back end of the base. Big defenses going down. We still have 3 dragon riders moving around this base. Queen's still moving on the outside. Absolutely crushed. This attack strategy has been working really well for me. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the next dragon strategy. And here we go. This is the other dragon attack strategy. Good old Zap Dragon. Now this is for those who maybe don't have their boots or don't have the boots leveled up. Which, by the way, if you do have the Electro boots but they're like low level, I still recommend using them because even at a low level, they're still one of the best equipments for the Royal Champion. But for whatever reason, there's an alternative wanted. This is probably the best one. So the only thing that's changed here as far as the actual army goes, it's just the spells. We got 6 lightning spells, an earthquake spell. Got that Skelly spell, which we use on the back end for the Royal Champion most of the time. And then, obviously, we got the Rage and the Freeze. And then we'll take a look at the heroes as well. Minion Prince, staying the same. Queen, we put the Unicorn back on her. We also put the Giant Arrow back on her because most of the time I don't include the Sweeper in the lightnings and the earthquake, so we do need to make sure we take care of the Sweeper. Don't underestimate, by the way, how strong a sweeper can be against a dragon attack. Sweepers can ruin a dragon attack or any air attack for that matter, so it's definitely worth it to try to take sweepers out of the picture if you can't go around them. Same stuff for the Warden, and then the Royal Champion, she's got her Fox back, and then we got the Electro Boots and the Haste. Now, if you're not using the boots, the Hogs and the Haste are a good option. The Rocket Spear with the Hog Puppet is a good option. If you're going to run the Rocket Spear, don't run the Haste Vial. That is the worst possible Royal Champion combination. But yeah, all in all, the RC is just a backup support troop, or I guess back-end support troop in this one, so not as key of a role. Let's jump into some attacks. Alright, for this army, we're going to take a look at my war attacks from the previous war, and looking at the base here, first of all, you can see I got it done in a minute and a half. But the first things that I look for are, 1, what am I going to zap? And 2, where do I want the giant arrow to go? So, looking at the base, if I can giant arrow through these air sweepers, that's going to set up a really nice pathing for the dragons, get the air sweepers out of the way. That's usually what I go for, air sweepers. Not always, but it just kind of depends on the base. Usually get those out of the way, but if they're not a factor, then you can go for air defenses. Just keep in mind that you do have to have a max level giant arrow to take down air defenses. But anyway, we're going to giant arrow through this middle. That's going to set up nice pathing for these dragons to go right through the town hall. As for the lightning spells, I almost always zap out the monolith unless it looks like this. So the problem with this monolith is there's nothing around it. If I use all my spells to zap the monolith, that's all we're getting is the monolith. I usually like to get at least one other major defense with it, whether that's like a single Inferno Tower, an air defense, multi-archer tower, expo, you get the idea. I like to get a couple of things, so we're not going to zap the monolith here, especially because when it's set up like this, all you got to do is drop one Skelly spell on it, and as long as it's out of range of the multi, or if the multi's distracted, then the monolith's just not a factor anyway, so we're probably going to zap on the back end here. You can see these defenses grouped up. That's a way better value. We can get an air defense, we can get a multi-archer tower, we can get a single Inferno Tower, so that's going to be the play. Let's see how this shapes up, and we'll also see exactly why I like the mirror on the queen instead of the healer puppet. So we're going to be starting off with the queen. It looks like we actually got it done in like a minute and 20. We finally got a baby dragon in on the left, top left side of the base. That's going to start the initial part of the funnel there because we want the dragons to go down the middle, not around the top. But there we go. Hold on. We missed it, but there was the giant arrow. We got the sweepers down. We'll go ahead and press play again. So that lined up perfectly, and then we got the cloned up mirrors, and the nice thing about them, even though one of them kind of took a detour, the other two are going to go in here and they're going to set up this funnel really quickly so these dragons can stay focused right down the middle of the base. We got the blimp in, we got the rage spell down. That's going to take care of the town hall. There's the zap quake. I actually didn't get everything I was looking for there. I didn't even realize it in the moment. I just now realized that going back and looking, I missed 2 of the 3 defenses I was trying to zap out of here. So that's actually kind of funny. But here we go with the Royal Champion to support these dragons on the bottom side. We got that Skelly spell in, like I mentioned, that's distracting the monolith while the RC comes in and takes it out. And then she's just going to continue working her way around the outside of the base. The Electro Boots are incredible. Like I said, if you don't have them, you got to get them. They're so very good with the Royal Champion. They might get nerfed, but I think even if they do get nerfed, they're still going to be good. But we got dragons on the top side. We got dragons everywhere. Dragons in the middle, dragons on the right. Queen's still alive. And even without the healer puppet, she's still doing just fine. The RC still making her way through. I don't even think at this point we need to pop her ability. With the Zapquake damage in, these defenses on the top side should go down relatively easily. Down goes the Scatter. We'll go ahead and speed the rest of this up. We're going to swag the Royal Champion's ability, and this base is absolutely crushed. Let's move on to the next one. All right, then looking at my other attack here. So you can see I changed up the army just a little bit. So especially for like war attacks, I know this isn't applicable to Legends League, but for war attacks or CWL, if you're looking at a base and you're scouting and you see something, you can change up the army just a little bit and make your army even stronger against whatever base you're attacking. And flexibility is very important for getting 3 stars. So in this case, I brought 4 rocket balloons, and I'm hoping you can see why. The reason is you can direct target these air defenses, and you can take 2 air defenses out of the way immediately. That is so good for dragon attacks. So that is what we're going to do. We'll take down these air defenses, and the rocket balloons will actually take down the buildings that are touching as well with the splash damage, and that just sets up a free funnel on either side of this top corner. So we'll take that out of the way. Like I said earlier, I like to zap the monolith, and that is what we're going to do here. Even though we are flying the dragon straight into it and we're popping the ability, it's still really nice to get the monolith down, and actually we're going to get the expo and the enemy queen. And that's going to help clear out this right side funnel as well. And that's going to push these dragons to the left. So that's kind of the goal here, is try to get all the dragons to go to the left. It's not typically easy. The pathing can easily get very wonky here, but that's kind of the idea. So the dragons will come down. We are going to blimp for the town hall, so that'll get taken care of. And that's just going to keep these dragons going to the left. We're also going to put the queen on this far left side and pop her giant arrow. I probably could have gotten away without even using a giant arrow on this attack. We really didn't need it, but the queen's going to go in on this left side, and then she's just going to funnel down to that bottom side and keep these dragons hopefully pathing down through this way. So let's see how this plays out here as we get this attack started. Like I said, we'll see these rocket balloons coming in. Click off of that really quickly, and it looks like this attack took about 2 minutes to get done. So let's see where these first rocket balloons come in. There we go. Rocket balloons on the left, rocket balloons on the right, and look at that. The splash damage takes down those buildings around the air defense. 2 air defenses off the map right away is massive. And I think at this point I might be waiting for that queen to get into position. No, I'm putting my queen in. We fired off the giant arrow. We did grab that sweeper on the left just in case. We didn't want that to be annoying later on, but like I said, I probably could have gone with the healer puppet and the mirrors in this case, but it works out. We zapped in the queen, down she goes with the monolith with the expo, and you can see how the buildings are perfectly pathed to where these dragons push to the left, and then they can utilize that queen's pathing here on the left side. The queen did go down, so she didn't get quite to the air defense like I hoped. If I put on the healer puppet, she would have gotten way more value, so that was kind of a mistake on my part. There we go. The tornado catches the blimp, spins it around. Balloons, Dragon Rider coming out of there, take down the town hall, take down the other fire spitter, and obviously the fire spitter is both pointing down to the bottom side of the base. Not going to be an issue. Now, like I said, I wanted the dragons to stay to the left, but here they actually path over to the right, which wasn't super surprising, but I was just waiting and watching, and this is what you want to do. You want to use your royal champion where she's going to be the most helpful. If the dragons had pathed where I wanted them to, she was going to go in down here. But since the dragons moved to the right, I figure if I put the RC in with her boots, she can clear out all these trash buildings and hopefully get these dragons back in towards the middle. Now, that isn't quite how it works out, but it still works out pretty well. This RC gets so much value. The Minion Prince firing that ability, his ability is also incredibly valuable. It slows down all these defenses down here. Down goes the enemy Minion Prince. Perfectly done. A single Inferno is going to be kind of annoying, but the Minion Prince, again, able to get it down. So that value is incredible. The RC still hanging on to her ability as well. We got about 15 seconds left in this attack as everything collapses down. We got a ton of dragons. We got Dragon Riders. We got 2 heroes still left alive. And again, this base is absolutely gone. So this attack strategy has been working out really well. And that's 2 times in a row we swagged the RC's ability. That's a wrap for this video. Hope you guys found it helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask them down in the comments below. If you guys want to see more awesome Clash of Clans content, I recommend checking out this video right here.